Hello everyone, welcome to the session of Class 6 Mathematics, and I'm your Anu again for the chapter Data Handling. Today we are going to see some problems regarding data handling, and we'll see all the three techniques in data handling, that is tally marks, pictograph and bar graph. So that is how to make a table, and how to arrange or how to present the data we have collected in using tally marks, and how to get information from a pictograph, and how to make a pictograph, and how to interpret the information from bar graph, and how to prepare a bar graph. So these are the things we are going to learn today. So let us do it with some problems. Okay, now the first one is, following is the choice of sweets of 30 students of class 6. So we all like sweets, right? So they have collected information about the choice of sweets among 30 students, and this is what they have got the result. They have collected it randomly, and they have written as, they'll be asking each and every one, and they'll be writing it down, and then we'll be rearranging that in a particular order. So what, see, laddu, barfi, what are the sweets they have collected? Laddu, barfi, jalebi, rasmalai. Okay, so I have listed out the sweets as collected, and I have written the short form to to reduce my time also. So see, this is for jalebi, R stands for rasmalai, laddu, and so on, barfi B. Okay, so now let us prepare the table, and after preparing the table we'll be able to say which sweet is preferred by most of the students. So whether we are able to collect it, we are able to get the information or not, let's see. We'll prepare the table first. So arrange the names of sweets in a table using tally marks. Now using tally marks, we need to arrange the information we have got in a table. Now how do we do that in a table? First we'll name the columns. Okay, so this is a table for the given 30 students, and I am going to do tally marks for the sweets given. So what are the sweets given? First one is, so this will be the sweets column, and this will be the tally mark column, and this will be the total. We should be able to get the total number of sweets, total number of likes for the particular sweet. Okay, so tally marks, and this is total. Now for the first one, laddu, and the second we'll do it for barfi, the third one for jalebi, and the fourth one rasmalai. Okay, so these are the sweets for which they have noted down the likes. Okay, so now we'll start counting each and every one. So as and when we count, we'll do the tally marks correspondingly. Okay, so that is how we do. That will be easy for us. Now first for laddu, 1, 2, I'll put a tick mark, 1, 2, see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and here 5. For 5 I need to cross it, right? So 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and again 1, 11. So see how easy it is. Now 5 plus 5, 10, 10 and 1, 11. So 11 likes are there for laddu. Next thing is barfi. Next is barfi, 1, and in the row 2, 3. There are no that much likes as laddu here, so we have just 3, right? So there are 3 likes. And next is jalebi. Now 1 and 2, 3, 3, 4, For 5, I need to put a cross here. Please don't forget. Next, 6, then 7. So, how many likes are there for jalebi? There are 7 likes. Okay, see. Now, the left out is rasmalai. So, we'll start counting it. 1, 2, and then 3, then 4, 5, then 6, 7, 8, see 9. So how many we have done? So this is 9. How easy it is. See now, instead of, by seeing this, we won't be able to understand how many people like a particular sweet, right? So when we arrange them in order, when we present them in the table in a particular order, using the technique called tally marks, it will be very easy for us to say now we can answer the question. Now we have presented, we have arranged the information in a table using tally marks, right? So now we'll be able to identify which sweet is most preferred and which one is the least preferred one. So upon seeing this, we'll be able to say laddu is the most preferred sweet among these students of class 6, and the least preferred is of course barfi, right? So we can get as much information as we need from the table, right from the table. So this is what we call presenting the information collected. So we are organizing it in a particular way in a technique called, using a technique called tally marks, and we have presented the given data in a neat manner so that we'll be able to understand the collection of data what we have collected. So we'll be able to understand the information from the data collected. Do you understand? So this is one particular technique using tally marks. We are arranging the data we have collected. Okay, so just check this problem and we'll move on to the next one. Hello kids, welcome back to the session, and we are going to see the second problem in data handling, and this problem is regarding pictograph. Okay, we saw one problem in tally marks. Now we'll be seeing another problem in pictograph. Okay, so let us construct the problem. I have given you the problem in short. Let us construct it. See, there are number of days given and number of electric bulbs in the second column, and there is a scale given, that is you need to understand that one bulb, if I draw one bulb, it is equivalent to 2 bulbs. Okay, so this is the key used in pictographs. Okay, you need to have a key which represents some amount of some number of some number of items. Okay, so because we can't we will not be able to draw all the the total quantity given, so we'll be using keys. So the key is one bulb is equal to 2 bulbs. And what is the question? The question here is, so we have there is a factory which is manufacturing number of electric bulbs, and it sells those electric bulbs too. And the sale of the number of electric bulbs is given in this table, and for each day the sale is given, and you need to answer. After preparing the table, after constructing the table, we'll be able to answer certain questions regarding the sale. Okay, so let us now construct the table. On Monday, the number of electric bulbs sold is, I've written 6 here. It means we need to draw 6 bulbs here. Okay, so 1, 3, 4, 5. So there are 6 bulbs here, and we have the key. Each bulb stands for 2 bulbs. So there are totally how many bulbs? On one day they have manufactured, they have manufactured and sold how many bulbs? 12 bulbs have been sold. Next, on Tuesday it is 8. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are 8 bulbs given in the table. So that means 8 into 2, 16 bulbs have been sold. Now the next day, Wednesday, it is 4. So when it is 4, how many bulbs are, it means 4 into 2, 8 bulbs, right? So 8 bulbs were sold on Wednesday, and it is 5 here. On Thursday, if it is 5, each bulb stands for 2 bulbs. So if it is 5, 5 into 2, it is, yes, it is 10 bulbs, right? So on Thursday, it is 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 here. So 7 bulbs, I have drawn 7. So 7 into 2, there are 14 bulbs. 14 bulbs were sold. And on Saturday, it is 4. That means 8. And on Sunday, 9. It means 18. Right? It means 18. So up to 9. 1 to 9. Okay, so it is 18 bulbs. Now we have constructed the table, and the table shows how many bulbs were sold by the factory and manufactured and sold by the factory. Now we have certain questions regarding this pictograph. This is called a pictograph. We know that because we have collected initially, we have collected the data and have represented them by means of some pictures, some symbols. I have used picture like bulb because it is regarding number of electric bulbs being sold by that factory or that outlet. So you have the total number of bulbs sold on each day. Now let's answer the questions which are being asked. Now what is asked in the first question is, on which day maximum sale happened? On which day maximum sale happened? So it will be easy for us to find out by seeing the total number of bulbs. So it was on Sunday. Maximum bulbs were sold on Sunday, right? So Sunday is the answer for first one. Maximum sale was done on Sunday. So that is 18 bulbs were sold on that day. The next question is, on what days same number of bulbs were sold? So on what day same number of bulbs are sold? By seeing this, we'll be able to understand. See, 8 and 8. So it is understood that on Wednesday and on Saturday, same number of bulbs were sold. So that is 8 bulbs were sold on Wednesday and Saturday, both on Wednesday and Saturday. The next is, when was minimum number of bulbs sold? So when, on which day was minimum number of bulbs sold? It's obviously Wednesday and Saturday, because 8 is the minimum quantity, here. So 8 is the answer. That is, on Wednesdays and Saturdays, minimum number of bulbs were sold. And the fourth question is, see, just observe, if one big carton can hold 9 bulbs. See, one big carton, there is a carton here, and it can hold 9 bulbs. Okay, it can hold 9 bulbs. Then how many cartons are required for that particular week? Then how many cartons are required to hold all the bulbs which are sold on that particular week? Okay, so for that, what we need to do, we need to find the total number of electrical bulbs that is that are being sold on that particular week. So how much it will be? 12 plus 16, it is 28. 28 plus 8 is 36. 36 plus 10 is 46. And 46 plus 14 is 60. 60 plus 8 is 68. And 68 plus 18 gives you, 68 plus 18 gives you 86, right? So 86, there are 86 bulbs. So how many cartons you need? Just check out if I have done it correctly. 2 plus 6 is 8, 8 plus 8 is 16, 16, 20, 28, 28 plus 8 is 36, carry 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So perfect, 86. Okay, so if one carton can hold 9 bulbs, then how many cartons are required to hold 86? So 86, it means 9 nines are 81 you have. So 81. So 9 into 9, that is 9 cartons. For each can hold 9 bulbs. So 9 carton, you require 9 cartons. Then the extra thing, that is extra 5 bulbs, isn't it? So 9 nines are, you will have 9 nines are 81 bulbs plus the 5 bulbs. So 81, for 81 bulbs you will have 9 cartons, and for the remaining 5 bulbs you will need a separate carton. So you need totally 10. You need totally 10 carton boxes to hold all the 86 bulbs which are being sold for a particular week. Do you understand? So there are 86 bulbs in total. One carton can hold 9 bulbs. Therefore 86 divided by 9 will be 9 and remainder will be 5. So there are 9 cartons which can hold fully 9 bulbs, and the remaining 5 bulbs we need another carton to to hold them. So 9 plus 1, totally we need 10 cartons. Do you understand? So that is how this question is answered. And the fifth one is, on Friday what is the sale? So on Friday, see, on Friday what is the sale? 7. So 14 bulbs. On Friday what is the sale? It is 14 bulbs. 14 bulbs were sold on Friday. Do you understand? So this is how we get information from pictograph. We construct and we retrieve information from the pictograph. This is also easier. But when it goes to large numbers, drawing each and every one is tedious for us, isn't it? So you could have seen, just when the number of bulbs goes on, it takes time for us to draw it. So it is time consuming. Okay. So let's see another problem. So just check it out. Hello kids, welcome back. I hope you would have understood techniques like tally marks and pictograph. We have constructed tables with the data collected using tally marks and pictograph also, and we have learned how to interpret information from those techniques, okay, from the tables drawn using those techniques. Now we'll be learning about the third technique, which is the bar graph. So we'll construct the bar graph first, and then we'll find out how to interpret information from the bar graph. Okay. So, and while doing pictograph, we have learned one thing called key. That is, we use keys to draw pictures for the data collected. That is, we simplify the numbers collected. If the numbers are very large, we use keys. Like if it is in terms of hundreds, we use one picture or one symbol for some 100 numbers. Then we'll go on representing the numbers. If it is 200 or 250, if it is suppose half the thing, we can draw it like this. See, if it is 250 apples are given, then what I can do is I can draw 2 apples, and 1 apple can be drawn like this. Okay, so this represents, if 1 apple represents 100, then you have 100 plus 100, 200, this is half of it, so that is 50, which means 250 apples. Okay, do you understand? So this is how we represent data using pictographs. Now we'll understand how to construct bar graphs and interpret information from the bar graph. The question about bar graph is amount of wheat produced during 1998 and 2002, between 1998 to 2002 in 1000 tons. So this is given in 1000 tons. That is, in 1990 the production was 15,000 tons, 1999 it is 25,000 tons, and so on. Okay, so they have given you for 5 years, and we have to construct the bar graph first, because we have to arrange and present it in a neat way, so that we'll be able to understand the information behind the data. Okay, so we need to construct now. What I told you, we need to draw a graph. A bar graph is nothing but, originally it's a graph with x-axis and y-axis. The vertical one is y-axis and the horizontal one is x-axis. Both have to be perpendicular to each other, and in x-axis we put the years. Okay, so this is 1998, 1999. So anyway it can be drawn. See, even in y-axis you can draw the year. I mean, you can put the year and the amount of wheat produced in x-axis too. So anyway it can be, the bar graph will be changing. So if we do it in this way, the bar graphs will be vertical bar graphs, and if we exchange the year and the amount produced, then we'll be having the horizontal bar graphs. Okay, so now we are going to see the vertical bar graphs. Since, see, they have given you the amount produced in 1000 tons. This is 15, 25, 20, 20, 30. So every, I mean, all the numbers are multiples of 5 because we have 25, 15. So we will be representing, I mean, we'll be taking the unit in y-axis, that is 1 unit in y-axis. So scale is very, very important in graphs. Okay, so 1 unit in y-axis. So you need to say that what is 1 unit in y-axis? 1 unit in y-axis, let us take it as 5000 tons. So this is 5000 tons. Okay, so if it is 5000 tons, then see 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So it will be easy for us to mark it. For each one we have markings here in y-axis, and x-axis, 1 unit in x-axis is equal to 1 year. Okay, so that is starting from 1998, it is 1 year, right? So for 1 year, 1998, for 1998, what is the production? It is 15. See, it is 15. So you should have uniform width. The width should be same. So it is 15,000 tons. Next is for 1999. It is 25. So if you have a scale with you, you can perfectly join that. Next is 20. So this is 20 here. And for 2001 it is 20 again. And for 2002 it is 30. Right? Okay, so see how we have constructed the bar graph here. So this is very easy, and it is also it explains you in detail, and it is easy for us to interpret. Okay, so let's start getting information from the bar graph we have constructed. So this is how we construct bar graph. I've already said, if we put the years in the y-axis and the amount of wheat produced in the x-axis, we'll just get a horizontal graph. That's all. Okay, so it is very easy for us. Or keeping this as such, we can draw graphs to see for 15 for 1998. If it is 15, I can draw it like this too. See, I can draw graphs just for you to understand. I'll draw it like this. So if I draw like this, it means 15,000 tons during 1998. Okay, now that I have drawn fully vertically, I'll continue with this. So this is how we have constructed a bar graph here, and the bar graph gives you more easy interpretation than the other ones, and it is also very easy for us to construct a bar graph for any number, for any large quantities. It will be easy for us to construct a bar graph rather than tally mark and the pictographs. Okay, so this is widely used. This technique is widely used. Bar graphs are widely used in research purpose and also for census, population census regarding data collection. Okay, so now we'll be interpreting information from the table, from the bar graph we have constructed. That is, we can say, just by looking at the bar graph, we'll be able to say in which year maximum production was obtained, or maximum amount of wheat was obtained by the government. That is, in 2002, see, just by seeing the graph itself, we'll be able to understand. In 2002, they've got 30,000 tons, right? So even if you don't have the information, we'll be just seeing the, if bar graph alone is given to us, we'll be able to get information from the bar graph. That is, during the year 2002 we have maximum production, and during the year 1998 we have the least production, that is 15,000 tons. And during the year 2000 and 2001, during the years 2001, we had the same amount of wheat production, that is 20,000 tons. And after 1998 the production improved a little bit, that is, we got 25, a lot actually, we got 10,000 tons more than 1998. Then it slowed down a bit, it became 20, but in the year 2002 the production was much higher than all the years. Okay, so these are the information we'll be able to get just by seeing the bar graph. So it is very easy for us to construct the bar graph, and it is and the information are readily available in the bar graph. We'll be able to easily retrieve information from this bar graph, and this is an technique which is widely used because it's easy to adapt and easy to understand also. So by this we end this chapter. I think you would have understood fairly about tally marks, pictographs and bar graphs. So this is quite an easy chapter. So you should by this time be well versed with all the techniques I've told you here. So we'll meet in the next chapter. Next chapter will also be very interesting, that is mensuration. We'll be meeting again for mensuration. Until then, it's bye from Anu. Thank you.